My name's Natasha. I'm a sales rep here at MNRC. This is my second year with MNRC, but I've been doing roofing for a total of 4 years. I switched to MNRC last year in March, and so I had a full season. And prior to that, I was at a couple other roofing companies, but it's like incomparable to the season that I had at MNRC. I've never had another company with such good company culture and support, but yeah.
How did you set your personal goals to achieve such success in your first year?
So I actually mapped out my vision statement like month to month of what I was looking to achieve based off the money I wanted to bring in. I set out even down to the week how many claims I needed to file, how many homeowners, how many doors I needed to knock. My vision statement was really sought out even with the limitation of storms that we had. I always reference that throughout the season, and that's what really helped guide me through, maybe if I missed a couple of days or I wasn't able to go out, I was able to reference that and really just go out and, maintain my goals.
What were your biggest challenges to success that you faced?
One of my biggest struggles mainly at the door was focusing on everything I was doing wrong versus what I was doing right, because there's a lot of mind over matter situations as far as like, am I knocking the right neighborhood? Am I working the right storm? Is this house big enough? There's all these contemplating things that you think in your head all up until you go and, go on your first door and take that knock, take that initiative, that really overcame, because out there in the field, it's just you. You are the expert. And so I really applied that to myself once I was at the door, but I'd say that was one of my biggest struggles. Another challenge I faced was throughout the season, we had a much smaller hailstorm threshold than we did that prior year. So, in the beginning of the season, we were working storms from 2023, but there wasn't really much to work off of in July and August. And even the storms that did happen, they were very congested areas. So I am a full-time mother. So even the storms that did happen, it was like maybe a 2-hour drive. So there's times where you get a little burned out or you let people get to you. But I just say, persevere and prosper. So I just like to stress on that even, on the worst of days, you can use a ton of excuses of this and that, or why I couldn't, achieve or be successful that day. There's so many things that you could say to yourself to just not close a deal, but that day I really closed it. I'd say the main way that I motivated myself was having that work-life balance, and obviously my daughter. My why was mainly my daughter and the money that I was looking to achieve, and all the things behind the excuses were less of a priority versus the priority of wanting to be successful, of that hunger, that resilience. So even on days that I didn't, get any deal, I know I was gonna get a deal some way, somehow. I'd say the first time you're working a neighborhood, the first few deals you get are the hardest. But it's an effect, because if you're working a neighborhood, a lot of people, they'll go to a different neighborhood because they think that the first one won't work. For me, I kept going back to the same neighborhood. I analyzed, I observed, I dropped pins on certain homes. I learned the neighborhood itself. I really narrowed down a whole neighborhood of maybe 50, 60 houses, and I kept going back.
Do you have anything that you wish you knew before you started here?
That is not gonna be easy, and the days that you give yourself excuses to stay in the house, don't go, because there's days that I stayed in the house last year, or there's excuses that I still gave myself that I wish I had gone out and got after it. Last year I filed 100 claims. This year I'm going for 150 claims. I'm just gonna be better than I was last year.